guys. How's everyone doing? All right. Started off with some procedural lists as we head into camp. As we know right now, not all the physicals have been done as of yet. There's still some happening this afternoon. But Kalia Davis, our rookie from Central Florida, he's going to be put on the NFI list. Same thing as PUP. It's just he did it in college, so it's the procedural listing is NFI. He'll be on that list. Charlie Warner will be on PUP. Charlie had a core muscle surgery earlier in the offseason, still recovering from that. Hopeful that he returns some point during camp. And Jason Verrett will be on PUP with his knee, continuing to work his way back from that knee, but making really good progress. All three of them are. But that's what we have thus far. We'll let you know if we add to that list going forward. That just open it up to questions.
Does that mean Jimmy Garoppolo is cleared to play or to practice, or is he not have to?
Well, he had a good outside visit with his independent doctor. He's one of the guys in the afternoon, so that's his physical will take place this afternoon. We had a good meeting with Jimmy this morning, Kyle and myself, and had a really good discussion. The good news is he's feeling great, and doing a nice job with his throwing program, the ramp up part of that, and that's exciting to hear.
Is there an expectation he'll go on PUP?
I don't see it but everything's dictated by that physical. So.
But he is here, and you've had conversations with him. Has he at any point expressed a desire to just be released?
No, he hasn't had that. I think we've had multiple discussions, and I do believe that, when he left, we've never had, Jimmy, when he gets out of here, he's out of here. So it wasn't like we had ongoing conversations, but we spoke when he left, and, we had a pretty good understanding of what was going on, and, because of the surgery and the ramifications of that in other teams' eyes, nothing's transpired as of yet, but he's here, he's reported. We'll see what happens in the physical, and we'll move forward, accordingly. No, I think like any player, there's always a reacclimation to practice and all that. So there's throwing to the side and ramping up, and he's still working on that. So.
And I mean, it was great to talk to him today. It's always easier when you talk to the person. You got to talk to both of us. So just the three of us caught up on a lot of stuff, and I think all three of us are very much on the same page. Jimmy understands where we're at. We understand where we're at. Like, I can't tell you how appreciative I have been of Jimmy and him being here, and so appreciative of what he did for us last year. I think Jimmy, and we knew what move we made the year before on that. Jimmy did a hell of a job coming to camp and winning that job and taking us real close to the Super Bowl. But we have moved on to Trey. We're starting camp out this way. We think Jimmy would have been traded if the surgery didn't happen, and it did. He needed to do it, so there's no ill will there at all. But it's good to see that he is healthy. But now it's all just seeing how this will end up. All three of us are on the same page, and we'll always think about Jimmy. He knows we have a team to think about too, and we'll work together to figure out the best thing for that. But in the meantime, I mean, he's cleared to practice, but he does have a throwing program that, like all guys do when they get elbow or shoulder surgery, anything with your arm, there's a protocol on how you build them up so they don't re-aggravate that. And he'll be doing that on the side and things. We don't plan on practicing him with the team and things like that. And we'll take it day by day and constantly talk with them, and hopefully we can figure out the best for both.
That you'll be able to trade him, or do you feel that window was missed with the surgery?
I think it made it a lot harder with the surgery. I think that's why everyone knows the situation we're in. And we understand that, so we're not trying to kid ourselves or play any game. I think the whole league understands that. But you also can't just give one of the better quarterbacks in the league, just make him available for no reason to the whole world. So, and the good thing is you can have those conversations with Jimmy, and he understands that too. So we're going to try to do the best for both sides. But there's things we got to work through, and it starts with getting the physical today by our doctors, which I expect that to go well, just like it did with his doctor. And then we'll see how fast this goes. But
another team, you'd want to be there sooner rather than later to start the season. Is there a date in mind, a deadline that he wants this done so that he can kind of start fresh with this new team?
Yeah, I think everybody wants everything as fast as can. Everyone doesn't like to be in a holding pattern. We don't. He doesn't. So Yeah, as soon as we can, but that involves another team and it working out somewhere Jimmy wants to go. And hopefully, with everyone being on the same page and open to all the dialogue and the same with other teams, hopefully that will happen sooner than later. I think that'd be good for him and good for us.
Waiting a while, though, there seems to be some thought that his mere presence is going to be upsetting to Trey in some way. I mean, just seeing how this plays out for a little bit.
Comfortable because of just how clear I just was with my words. This is Trey's team, and that's nothing against Jimmy. We made that decision a year ago, and we're going with that, and we're not going to mess around with that anymore. And I don't think we really have messed around with that much, but once we made that decision, we did, and Jimmy understands that fully. He's a big guy, and it's nothing against him either. That's a business decision, and that's what makes it not awkward. Yeah, it's tough, but there's contracts or stuff that you have to do, and that's when I feel like we're doing that as good as we can, and that is possible because of the type of guy Jimmy is and the type of relationship we have, and the circumstances. Everyone, I think, if you look at it, you can see why it got to this with the surgery and when it happened, and we understand it, and it'll take care of itself. But Jimmy knows we're going with Trey. Trey knows we're going with Trey, and our team does. So and everyone likes both the guys. So it is what it is.
With Deebo right now.
You know, we've had really productive and substantive talks. I don't want to get everyone all excited that something's imminent because we're not there yet, but, really hopeful that in the near future we'll be able to, announce something that's exciting for everyone involved. And so that's good. Deebo's here today, and we're excited about moving forward with him as part of this team.
To practice before he signs or before you get something done, or is that still done?
Focused on getting something done. That's deadlines, and then there's not a hard deadline, but deadlines, have a way of spurring these things into action. And, that's, like I said, we've had a number of productive talks and hopeful that something's going to happen here in the near future.
It's been reported that Trey Lance suffers from arm fatigue, and one day he'll throw a lot, and the next day his arm will be so tired he won't be able to throw at all. Is that accurate?
I think it happened one day in training camp last year. But that would be accurate with every quarterback ever coached. Yeah, guys get arm fatigue at times, but nothing to, Trey's arm was great throughout all of OTAs. It's been great talking to him through the whole summer, and I expect it to be the best it's looked tomorrow when we practice. But for a report to come out about a guy's arm soreness, I get it. There could be a report about every quarterback I've ever coached, though, too. But no, I think we're all right with his arm soreness.
Were there certain benchmarks with Trey that you saw either during his rookie season or at some points of this offseason where you got to a point where, okay, I do feel comfortable now giving him the team and making him the starting quarterback?
Yeah, you'd always love to watch someone play 16 or 17 games. You know a lot more, but we studied the heck out of him in college. And then he had times in the first OTAs he got here in the rookie mini camp and in training camp where it's like, wow, this might come fast. And then you see the next day, it's like, all right, he is a rookie and he hasn't gone through a lot. So we saw that through the whole rookie year, the ups and downs. And that's what's tough about some young guys playing, because it's tough to go through those ups and downs and win a lot of games. That's why I thought it was great for him and for our team that he didn't have to go through that, and we still had a pretty decent season. But this offseason, I think the most encouraging thing is you go through all the ups and downs, but he comes to OTA 1, and it was how he finished the OTAs. You throw a lot at it. You go through a whole thing of installation and where he was at the end. Definitely not the finished product, but it was much further ahead than the beginning. And when you deal with a guy who's got the ability and stuff, and all eyes are on him, and the pressure's on him, not just with you guys, but with teammates and stuff, that's what you want to see, him getting better as he gets the opportunities. And if he gets better as he gets opportunities, then you're a hell of a lot more encouraged to give him a lot more opportunities.
How do you want to coach him this camp in terms of if a play breaks down? Do you want him to pass first and just thread it in there? Or do you want to see him take off running and use those legs out? They've been under wraps basically for the last year, and kind of get some of that going.
I want him to do the best decision possible. And if the number 2 guy in the progression is wide open because they busted a coverage and he gets to there, as you go, I hope he hits number 2. If number 1's covered and there's a lane wide open and he just doesn't hesitate and hits it and moves the chains, I hope he does that. There's a element in when you have that skill asset of moving the ball with your feet. I mean, it's a great bonus. And anytime something happens, you want them to do that. And that's the fine line of people playing this position, because a lot of times when people don't know, they're not developed enough at quarterback and they have that option, they're going to always go to it, which is so cool to have that option. But that also doesn't allow you to get better in the other areas. So that's what he's got to find in his game. But the whole point is moving the chains. And we might call a play number one's wide open, he doesn't throw it, you might be upset, but when it ends with a first down, you're quickly over it. And you get used to how do we win games, and you learn that with each player you coach. And you have an idea in practice, you have an idea off their skill set, but you have no idea until you get into the games. And usually a player gets better with the coach the more they're together, and the coach gets better with the player. But you don't just learn that stuff by talking about it. You got to go through it.
Do you feel like you're on the same page with Deebo as far as how he's going to be used this season? Has that been a thing that you two have discussed about just, will the second half of last season carry over to this season?
I had a real good discussion. We're on the exact same page on it.
Kyle Young has made himself available sort of as a resource sounding board to Trey. Are you privy to those conversations, and what type of value does that provide somebody like Trey in the situation?
I'm not privy to it, but I hope they talk all the time. And Steve Young's one of my favorite players of all time, one of my favorite people of all time. And if you ever go back and watch his film, like, I like to act like I did in middle school, but I didn't. And you watch it now, it's like, holy cow, he's better than I even realized. So, and he's also one of the smartest people I've ever met in my life. So anytime that guy wants to talk to any of our players, please do it.
There's one day where I think Trey was doing some promotional stuff with Jerry, and they were doing for the Goat Fuel, and they were shooting. Well, Steve had decided to come down and say hello to Trey, and I get a call. We had a new security guard, and Steve rolls up in his minivan, and somebody else said, hey, Steve's rolling around in his minivan, said he can't get in the gate, and so, but that day I do know I wasn't privy to what their discussion was. It was pretty cool to look out on the field and see those guys, and they talked for a long time, and I know Trey values that. Trey's a guy who's going to soak up as much information as humanly possible, and he also understands what a tremendous resource. And, the same can be said for so many 49ers. Such a great tradition here, a winning tradition, and to not take advantage of that would be foolish. And we're just grateful for guys like Steve who are willing to share their experiences, with our guys. Bryant Young's here today, and was here yesterday as he's getting ready for Canton, and saw him in the locker room talking to a lot of our younger players. And more of that we can get, the better.
Young mentioned that he sees Trey's processing abilities as one of his better qualities. Do you also see that from him?
Yes, I do. I mean, that was one of the things we liked about him the most in college. Thought he, they didn't do a ton of it just because of how good of a team they were and how much they ran it, but when he did do it, you could see that he had the skill set to do it and was good at it. Completely different speed of the game compared to where he was playing in the now, and to get in those pockets is totally different. But you don't always get to see it in college quarterbacks, and it's not always their fault. Sometimes their offenses don't ask them to, but that's one thing I did like about studying Trey.
D Ford here, and what's the plan for him?
It's not, I can tell you guys in the next couple days, they're working through some things, league, PA, and all that, but, I think you guys will see a transaction, and, leave it at that.
In the spring, you guys didn't seem to be in a rush to get something done with Nick Bosa, and he didn't seem to be in a rush either. Is that something that could maybe wait till next offseason? Where are you in that situation?
Nick, I think the thing I'd tell you there is, if you look at our history, our cadence, most of our deals are done with 1 year left on the contract. Nick's got 2 years left, and so that doesn't make it impossible, but it makes it more likely that it's something that will be addressed next year. No absolutes, never say never, but here's what I do know. As long as we're here, Nick Bosa is going to be a part of the Niners, and he's going to get paid handsomely to do so. So his time's coming, and when it does, he'll get what he deserves, because, man, what a special player.
Do you still have the philosophy that you like your backup quarterback to have the same basic skill set as your starter?
Don't see Nate's might have the fastest 40 of them all, so don't sleep on Nate. But yeah, it's also, but if Yeah, if we were going to build an offense around a complete running quarterback, then I would probably want our backup to be a running quarterback. I don't see Trey that way. I see him as a guy who played in college as a very good quarterback and has the ability to keep getting better, and I'll always have the bonus to do something athletically that a lot of the good quarterbacks don't have. And we're just trying to build him up with those reps at quarterback and then let his ability take over. And Nate, I love his ability. He can move, he can scramble. We're not going to put in an offense for him to have a lot of design quarterback runs. And we probably would do a little bit more for Trey than him, but I don't expect that to be what we major in anyways.
Fourth quarterback for camp?
As of right now, we've got our guys. We're happy with the group. If that ever becomes burdensome where we don't have enough arms to get through, I think these guys are always monitoring that, and we're prepared like every position with the list.
You guys have a kind of whatever preliminary depth chart as far as who you're going to start off at center and to give that person kind of a chance. Where do you envision Brunskill right now, right guard or at center?
Both. That's stuff I want to talk to Brunskill about first and everything, but he's going to have a chance at both. We know, he started at right guard for us for a while. We know he can play center. We got Jake Brindell doing that too. There's going to be some competition there big time. We have possible rookies to compete at right guard, so it's going to be musical chairs in there for this camp. It's pretty cool because we got a number of guys that we believe can start. Brunskill's the only one who's shown people that he can do it because he's the one who's had that opportunity. A lot of the other guys, you don't know for sure till they do it for 16 games, 17, just like I'm talking about with our quarterback. But what we see in practice every day, we think we got a number of choices, and it'll be fun to watch them kind of all battle it out.
John, there are a handful of veteran centers out there who aren't signed. Is that something you're kind of keeping an eye on too, just to see how that competition at center unfolds, and if you feel the need to go out and get someone?
We have ready lists at every position. Really, R.J. Gillen now has taken over our pro staff. Rand Carthon has always been a part of that, Adam Peters. And they do a tremendous job of always being kept abreast and, knowing, okay, here's our list. Here's the veteran options. Here's the younger options. So, yeah, absolutely.
G in terms of his health, is he full go when camp starts?
Again, as we talked about, when you're coming off a major surgery, there's always a kind of re-enter process, and so it's not like you just throw them out there and say go practice football full speed, take every rep. And so we've got a really good plan. Our health and performance staff does a really nice job of coming up with these plans. We build one for our own team that is as intentional and conscientious as possible in terms of high and low days, medium days, how Ben refers to it as building a mountain, getting them ready for the open of the season. But with guys like Mike, you're obviously going to have another plan, just as we have in the past for guys like Bosa coming off knee surgeries. But Mike's doing very well, and it's going to be nice to have him back out on the field.
Mike McGlinchey, Kinlaw, and Aziz are all in the same boat. They're all cleared to practice, but they all had some pretty serious surgeries, so they're cleared to practice, but we're going to take it easy with them, so it won't be every day.
When it comes to coaching quarterbacks and trying to get them to improve accuracy, I know you haven't loved to talk about fundamentals with us. Are you the same with Trey? Like, are you focused more on, procedurally where he needs to go on a given play, and maybe getting that in his mind will help improve his accuracy, while maybe quarterback gurus he works with will work on the fundamental stuff? Just where are you at in terms of how you approach coaching quarterbacks to improve accuracy?
I believe, just me, everything comes from the ground up. So everything I try to do is with their feet, with their eyes, how to move in a pocket, how to have your body in position where the ball is going to go, and how to get your body with your mind to anticipate where it might go based off coverages, and how to move that way athletically and be able to make a throw from any angle, and how to do that. Now, when it comes to how to throw a spiral, how to do this or that, I have my coaching points I tell my son and stuff, which is I'm still working on. But that's stuff that guys, I look at like a golf pro. You can go and work on your little things and stuff like that on your own. But this is about playing the game, and whatever you work out on your own, when it comes into the heat of battle, it's a totally different game. I think a lot of NBA guys might have some shooting coaches and stuff. But how do you play the game? How do you get your body in position to get those shots off? I don't know if they're all coaching guys exactly how to shoot free throws, but I know they're helping coaching guys how to guard people, how to get open, and I guess I would compare it to that.
Trey Sermon, is there anything you saw in the off-season program and know about his training that gives you confidence he'll be able to contribute?
He has done everything he can. I mean, the guy was just I haven't seen him yet, but watching him in OTAs, he was as yoked up as he could be. He was in as shape as he could be. Like, you could tell the guy learned from his rookie year and wants to do a lot more. And so that's the starting of it. And I can't wait till we get the pads on and to watch him and a number of other guys play. It's always hard in OTAs, especially for O-line, D-linemen, running backs. Like, there's only so much you can do, and it's getting even harder. That's why we asked a lot about, like, the center evaluation and stuff. Like, we feel great about our guys. We got to put some pads on and start really going against people, and that's why we're excited to get started on camp.
What excites you most about the roster? What's that? What excites you the most about the roster when you look, both of you guys, when you look at this roster up and down, what gets you fired up for this season?
As good about our roster as I have. You know, I love our team right now. Like, when I just sit and go through our positions, some of the young guys that we've added, some of the young guys in the last couple of years who have quickly become some of our better players and leaders, I think our team's in a great spot to turn it over to a quarterback who hasn't played before. We might have some interior linemen who haven't, but when you got the guys there, just talent-wise, that we see at practice every day, and I see the people around them, it pumps me up, because sometimes when you start off with that, you know, it's going to be a work in progress, which everything is, and we got to go out there and get to what our potential is, just like we did last year, and that didn't come till halfway through the year. We got to do that a lot earlier this year, and I believe we got the team to do it. And every year, not everyone does have that opportunity, a chance. And what I see on papers, I see a chance. And now that's all you can ask for as a coach, and now I just want to go to work with them.
How much more comfortable are you with Trey's skill set, his tendencies, and how does that sort of factor into maybe adding new wrinkles and just developing the playbook with him?
New wrinkles isn't the problem with him. It's trying to know all the stuff that you have done or that he's capable of doing, what the percentages of it, how good he is at that compared to our other players. Like, there's some things our players are comfortable with. How automatic is Trey going to be that? Trey can do anything, but what's going to be his best stuff? And that's stuff that I don't have the answer to yet. And I'll have a much better idea at the end of camp, but I still won't have the answer. That'll go throughout the year, and that's always evolving.
One more. On your coaching staff, how has the process been getting ready for training camp?
Been awesome. You know, I think our defensive staff we didn't make any changes there. We just had a few younger QC guys, but I think their second year together has been very good. Sometimes you don't know. You work at everything, but you don't know until you go through the season together, and they're so much tighter for that. And the offensive staff's been great. I know we had a bunch of number changes, but there's so much familiarity with the people that we brought in and some of the history that we've done, and just having guys like Chris First, who I've always had, but he's even got to take on a bigger role by losing guys like Mike and stuff, losing John and things, and he's always done the same amount of work, but helping me divvy up things in the office and things like that. Bobby Slowick's done a hell of a job stepping it up, and these new guys we brought in, you know, we lost some real good guys, but we also brought in some real good guys, and it kind of allows you to bring up new things. Like it is, it's not, no one's bringing in new ideas, but it generates new energy. You got to go. I've had to go teach some things that I haven't had to in a couple of years, and you spend that off season doing it so guys know what to expect. Then you go through OTAs and you get to watch them based off of what you said in the off season, and they work your words through practice. And by the end of OTAs, it's felt as good with our staff as I have since I've been here.
Kyle, just specifically, how enthusiastic are you about your options for your front seven? Got a lot of solid linebackers and D linemen. That competition battle.
That goes in, I mean, how we feel about our team, and I think it starts there. I mean, with our D-line and our linebackers. I mean, that's a group that has been around here for a while. I think we've only added stuff to help them with depth, and I think they're healthy as now as they've been when they're healthy. We're tough to deal with, and when they haven't been healthy, we've had the depth that's been tough to deal with. So I think with our team, it starts right there.
To that end, I will say, I meant to say it up front, we did sign Kim Diche, Robert Kim Diche, and as a free agent. I know it was reported last week, but that person must have been Nostradamus, because we had a workout. We had not decided. There were 3 guys here working out. He did shine in that workout, so he'll be a part of us moving forward. We're excited about that. So,
good.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, it feels great to be back. Year 8, so the offseason definitely flew by, but it's always good to get back with your teammates, get back in this atmosphere, get the new season, new journey started. Feels good.
Year 8 for you and year 6 for this current regime, John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan. How do you think things have changed and kind of how would you say entering this camp might be different from maybe other camps you've come to?
Yeah, it's definitely, them being here 6 years now, it's definitely been a lot of consistency, which, I didn't really see my first couple years here. And, with the consistency, what's expected and all those different things are already established. And so that's the players who have been here continuing that and then bringing the younger guys into the fold and, bringing them along with, what we already have kind of going on. So definitely see that consistency, them being here for, this many years now.
You describe the defensive line's depth as camp starts.
It's crazy. A lot of depth for sure, a lot of talent, a lot of great players. I think we have a bunch of guys that can start, here or on other teams as well too. So it's going to be fun taking the field with them and, getting better. It's, when you add some new pieces, you got to build that continuity. And so it's definitely going to be fun doing that, going out there and practicing and, finding ways to get better together.
Kyle has made it clear that it's Trey's team, and here we go with a new quarterback. How much responsibility do you feel as a defense to make sure that he's successful, that he has a chance? Obviously, that was a big part of Jimmy's success was this defense.
100%. I feel it's very important, especially you have a younger player. And to be honest, quite frankly, I'd rather be on a team where, me and my defense is the reason why we're winning games. Obviously, I'm a defensive player, so I have that mindset. And so that's how we take the field. Like, we're not waiting on heroic moments by a quarterback or our offense. As a defense, if they don't score points, then we're going to win. So that's the mindset. And I think that Trey coming in and really taking, leadership over the team, he's not doing it alone. We have a whole talented roster of players, top end, from top to bottom, who, are going to go out there and, play for one another. And Trey just has to come in and, do his job. And so it's not all that pressure, really, especially being on an established team. It's not like a situation where, you bring in a young guy and the team is in, disarray and, the quarterback has to, do so much to, really help you win games. So it's just, him coming and doing his job, which I think he's handled very well thus far. And I know that he knows we all have his back out there when we go take the field.
At what point was it clear to you that this would be Trey's team? And what did he do maybe last year during his rookie season or during this off-season program that made you comfortable with, okay, it's his time now?
I don't make those decisions, so she just told me that. They told me that Kyle said that before I walked in here, so I wasn't blindsided. But, I guess that's what we know now. And, I love Jimmy, love Trey. Like I said, I don't make those decisions. So if that's the decision they're, deciding to make, we're all with it. I know Jimmy's here. It was great to see him, play with him for, this many years. And, I think that he is a perfect guy to have, kind of in this situation and to help, kind of pass that mantle. So I'm excited to see, what happens for Trey and excited to see what happens for Jimmy as well.
Cohesion with the rest of the defensive linemen. Where do you think things are now between you and Javon Kinlaw, and how much kind of work you'll need to do with him, this offense, to kind of get that cohesion?
Yeah, me and JK have been working together for these past 3 or 4 weeks. I came back out here to the Bay Area a few weeks ago, and I was going back and forth from Sacramento, and he's been looking great, and he's definitely going to be a big focal point to our team, and not just him as well too, all the rest of the D linemen. But I definitely love spending some time together and working with him this off season, and I'm definitely excited for him going into this year. Being healthy and being able to show what he can do.
Is there any way that you let you, spread your wings a little bit as a defensive player and show that you can do more than maybe you did in the past? And do you think you're still an ascending player in your 8th year?
I think I've been used various ways my entire career. If you remember, I got in the league in 2015. We ran a 3-4, so I was a 4-eye, 2-gap defensive end. I did that. Played a little bit of nose guard throughout the years. So I played in a 1 technique, played in a 3 technique. Coach Crusader got here, and I played in a wide 9, and I pass rush from the inside. So I think I've been showing my versatility kind of my whole career. And as far as an ascending player, I definitely always feel I have things I want to work on, room for improvement. And that's my responsibility each year, is to, whatever role they put me in, to be dominant in it and, help our team win games. And, that's what I'm going to do. So.
D'Amico grows defensive coordinator over from last year to this year. And what has he brought to you guys?
Yeah, just continue to put his stamp on, what our defense should look like. Coming in, you have to try to find your kind of identity and your voice as a coach a little bit when, you have a bigger responsibility or a bigger role. And I think he's just continued to improve and kind of settle in, throughout coaching more games, being in certain situations, coaching in playoff games. So as the more experience it comes, just like as a player, as a coach, the more experience comes, the better and better you get. The more experience dealing with, different players and different situations and, different lineups and adjustments throughout the game. It just makes you a better and better coach. So I think he's going to continue to get better and better. And I know this, this off season, his first year being a coordinator, he's had a lot of time to kind of debrief on, how last year went and kind of tweak those things, moving forward. So I would say, him being a former player, that's something he's used to, is, self-scout. And so I definitely expect to see a improved and better version of him, as we move forward. And he's been so great for us thus far, so I'm excited to continue playing for him.
Bosa was brought along last year after the knee injury, and slowly in training camp with an eye on the first week of the season, and he had a really good year. What do you expect to see from him with a full season under his belt, a healthy offseason, and a total run-up to a season?
Who knows? Nick is an amazing player, and last year it had to be a ramp up because he was coming off a major injury, and so with the whole off season to train. He was training, but with a whole off season to train without worrying about the knee, I think it's going to be, super helpful for him as well too. And I expect to see, a bunch of similar things happen this year, and even better. So I'm excited to take the field with him too.
And guys getting acclimated to your group, but it seems like you get guys that come in for a year or two that are super productive where they haven't been at other places. What is it about this group and how you guys work that allows that?
That's a good question. I would say for me personally, at different times, it's your coaches are supposed to put you in a position to be successful, and so I think that's definitely helpful. And then just having a clear mind is definitely helpful. Knowing your role and that being communicated, so you can just go out there and do it to the best of your ability, is also very helpful. And then also too, just being surrounded by great players and great talent, being able to bounce things off each other and learn, and then take advantage of your opportunities. And so I think having that clear mind, going into the game, knowing like, all right, you know, for me, it's like when I go into a game, all right, I need to do this and this, and then just let everything else take care of itself. You know, I need to win my one-on-ones. I need to play physical in the run game, and then that's the only thing I have to worry about. So being here, you have that ability not to worry about too many other things.
Simplifying things for you. You talked about your versatility also, but at the end of last year, maybe the second half of last year, you started playing more on the inside. Is it better for you in your mind to, you know, have a more simplified role, work more exclusively from the inside? Is that something you might be looking forward to a little bit more this year?
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I think that when I was playing in, I've always played inside on passing situations, and when I was playing in, obviously I was at in to shut down the run game, and teams just started running the ball away from me, so I wasn't as involved into the game. And I think playing inside with my ability, which might be, you know, tough for some people, but with my ability to be more involved in the run game, not allow teams just to, you know, kind of run away from me, and then also to have more opportunities rushing against guards and on the inside where I predominantly do on third down. I'll get more of those opportunities throughout the game on first and second down. So I think it'll be good. I'm excited for it, and you know, I think I can, you know, dominate in this role as well.
Howdy. Hey, everybody. Oh, nice to see your beautiful faces. goodness gracious. Hi, everybody back there, too. Oh, it was wonderful. I got a question for you guys. Who would win in a fight, a grizzly bear or a silverback gorilla? This is an argument I had in my group chat today. Okay. So I'm pretty sure a grizzly bear is actually way bigger, and it has daggers for hands. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the grizzly bear, too. So anyone that said silverback, can you leave, please? It's tough. That's tough for you guys. Trent? Yeah, well, he's a hybrid, so that doesn't classify as a silverback. My off season was wonderful. Are you talking about just these last 40 days away? Yeah, sure. Oh yeah, it was a wonderful time. Tight end U was a wonderful experience. 85 NFL tight ends. That was a blast. Got to go to Mexico for Trent Taylor's wedding, so that was always a good time. Yeah, just enjoyed my time in Nashville.
Work aspect of your off season, anything in particular that you really focused in on that became kind of what you wanted to emphasize to get ready for this training camp?
Well, because I didn't really do a lot of football this offseason, leading up, through OTAs and stuff. So a lot of my stuff was just get my body back to the explosive movements of cutting and running routes, and having to block guys like Nick Bosa for all the training camp. So just trying to get my explosive speed, all that stuff back. Just definitely a lot of balance stuff, and as much rehab as I could possibly do, just get my body as healthy as I possibly can be going into training camp.
Do you feel like when you meet up with all those tight ends that you are learning something new every time you do?
I mean, literally, like, my favorite thing about it is when you have 85 guys in the room and then you throw in, like, Dallas Clark, who's a legend, who played at, I'd say, a pretty high level for his whole career. Just, like, the way guys think about the game is, like, kind of my favorite thing about it, is, like, guys' mindsets when they go into, or how they attack a workout, or what their mindset is going against a certain coverage. And just, like, listening to different guys talk about it, because how Travis Kelce describes it versus Greg Olsen versus Dallas Clark are three completely different descriptions of how they attack certain coverages or leverages. And so, while each one might have worked for that person, being able to just kind of grab answers from each one of those guys, and because, like, I don't move like Travis does, but I might move more like Greg does, but just being able to see those comparisons and how different it is really, it's just kind of fun to pull all that stuff and put it together.
With Kyle Shanahan telling us that this is now Trey's team. Did you see that? Yeah. Nice. How do you anticipate that impacting your role, where a young quarterback often will look to a tight end?
I can't wait. I think that's a great idea. I don't know. I think I've had pretty good success with every quarterback that I've played with so far here, and luckily too, I played with young quarterbacks when I was also young. I mean, like CJ and Nick Mullins were both very young quarterbacks when I was with them, and just being able to build a relationship with them, as whether it's an outlet or hey, I'm just going to throw you the ball regardless. So I hope that you're open. That's kind of a relationship I hope to build with Trey, and just get the opportunity to get all these reps with him. It'll be fun. Trey definitely brings a completely different dynamic to the football field than anything I've played with before, so I'm looking forward to it.
Garoppolo's in the building. Is this the first time you've talked to him since y'all put it out in your lockers?
No, I saw him in Vegas once. That was fun. It was me, Matt LaFleur, and Jimmy G, so that was an interesting group. So I enjoyed that. But yeah, since then, no, I haven't talked to him in a long time.
How's the mood feel in the locker room?
Guys are excited. I mean, football's back. I mean, the start of OTAs and the start of the season, everybody's 0-0, and everybody has, huge dreams and aspirations. So that's a very great energy to be around. But when you also around all the guys on the team who have been here for a couple years, whether it's Bosa, Armstead, Jimmy Ward, McGlinchey, Trent Williams, when you're around all those guys, you just have this, this energy where you want to get better, and you really have this belief in this team that we have all the key pieces to be successful this year.
The circumstances that come together for you, Jimmy, and Matt LaFleur to get together in Vegas.
And then Jimmy just happened in Vegas at the same time, so we convinced him to come hang out with us for a little bit. Yeah. And then you throw Alex Mack into that one. I mean, basically all the Niners that were at the Pro Bowl, plus some of the Packers guys and Matt LaFleur. That was an entertaining couple nights. Matt is just he was a good luck charm that weekend.
What's the mindset of the veterans on the team, the guys who have been through a couple of these playoff runs now, knowing that the expectation is to contend while you also are bringing along a first-time starting quarterback? Like, what goes on in those discussions that you have with the captains? Like, does the emphasis change knowing that you have an inexperienced quarterback now?
I mean, I don't know if I've actually had a sit-down conversation with Trent Williams about Trey Lance yet, but I think the overall consensus would be that our best players need to play their best football. You know, we need to do our best to make it as easy as we can for Trey. And while there's going to be ups and downs, we need to play at a high enough level where, you know, if Trey has a game where he throws a couple picks, it is what it is, and we're going to be playing at it well enough where we can win those games. And you know, if not, just encourage him to continue to get better because, I mean, just his progress from being a rookie day one of OTAs last year through training camp, through the season, and then through OTAs this last couple months he's gotten better. I mean, I can see that, and I'm not going to lie to you guys. Like, he has gotten better. If he stunk, I'd tell you guys he stunk. He doesn't. But he's gotten better, and he's going to continue to progress. And I think the more games that Trey plays, the better he's going to get. And it's just going to be up to us to be around him and to help him out as best we can.
The different dynamic that Trey does bring, what opportunities does that open up for you on the field?
I mean, I'm looking forward to a lot of plays that are off schedule. I mean, I think it's something I'm really looking forward to. I mean, you see a lot of, I don't know if it's mobile quarterbacks, but guys that just, you know, are able to get outside the pocket and make those plays last. Instead of a 5-second play, it lasts for 10 seconds. It's hard to cover someone for 10 seconds, and I feel like I can get open from someone in 10 seconds. So I think Trey's going to be able to do that a lot, and it's just, you know, getting used to that type of style of football. You know, I see it, you know, you see it in highlights every single week on, you know, SportsCenter top 10 for other quarterbacks around the league, and I think Trey's going to be able to do a lot of that stuff.
Is there a way to really practice that effectively, or is it just a feel thing of like getting to know his tendencies and finding open spaces?
Oh, I think it's a little bit of both. I think you can do scramble drills all you want. I mean, whether, you know, you just call a play and let Trey scramble, and like, it's just guys reacting to the spots where Trey wants to be. You know, guys that attack the ball, guys will go deep, and just getting used to that. And also, you know, and there's a conditioning aspect to that too, because players are going to last a little bit longer, going to be running around the field a little bit longer, and you know, we'll just get used to that, I guess.
George, have you seen the woman artist on Twitter that draws Jimmy every day at Trace Street? What do you think of that?
It's comedy. I have noticed that. I've been there a couple times. I think I mean, it's definitely entertaining. I love the internet. I think Twitter and the internet's always undefeated, so you can't lose. And so I always enjoy seeing those photos, and whether I'm in them or not, I find them very enjoyable.
Any mugs or anything?
I've not. I did really like the South Park version though, because she drew me as Cartman, and I thought that was pretty good.
To read actually yesterday. Yeah, and I told her about your Joker tattoo. So if you had anything to say to her, what kind of drawing would you like to see?
I mean, if she has to keep drawing Jimmy, but I don't know. She's done a pretty good job so far. I like it when she hits all those movie classics. I'm very nostalgic, so anytime she hits something from my childhood. She had a Calvin and Hobbes one the other day, and that was really funny too.
George, on top of taking as many reps as you can with Trey, how do you go about continuing to cultivate that relationship with him?
You know, I mean, it's just kind of being there for him, honestly. Whether you just talk to him, make sure, you know, keep his head clear, and just continue to encourage him. I mean, football's a kid's game at the end of the day, and there's a lot of confusing aspects to it, and there's, you know, a lot of confusing parts of our offense, but Trey's a hell of an athlete. He's got his head on right, and, you know, just continue to talk to him every single day and encourage him to throw me the football.
With it seems like the running back group just overall is bigger, like featuring bigger guys than what you guys had with maybe Raheem and Tevin. Do you expect the running game to have a different look, maybe schematically, or how you guys, you know, approach that?
I mean, it's definitely going to be different. I mean, Mike McDaniels, he did his own thing. He was very creative in how he put guys in certain places to get defenses to move to certain spots to let us run the football. But I mean, we're still the Niners. We're going to run outside zone. We're going to run gap scheme, and we're going to do a lot of bootleg play action stuff. So, you know, I believe that we're going to run what we're really good at. And while, yes, it's pretty hard to replicate Raheem Mostert's speed. I still think we have fast guys, and we have guys that run downhill, and that's really all you need in the football room. You know, as long as guys are running downhill and not going lateral, I think we're going to do just fine with our run game.
Talked about the coaching staff and a guy like Brian Fleury bringing a new thanks. You've seen it already this offseason. With thanks, Fleury. We talked about Fleury. What about Anthony Lynn? I know you're not in the running backs room, but is he bringing kind of a new schematic dimension, new set of eyes?
I mean, I think so. Anyone that's ever been a head coach before, I think, just kind of sees the game from a different perspective. Because he kind of sees the whole field, like while he is in the running backs room coaching them and Juice. I still feel like he brings a lot of different things to our offense. I mean, whether it's in the pass game, he's talked to me about certain things. Like when I was doing OTAs, I got to stand next to him and just listen to him talk about whether he was talking about a route, whether he was talking about the offensive line. Just listen to him talk about different things is very interesting. And just getting to know him more will be fun. We have a ton of new coaches on the staff that we got to hang out a little bit during OTAs, but there's not really any bullets flying in OTAs. It's going to get hot and heavy here pretty quick, and that's when I like to know what my coaches are made of, and players are made of. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Referenced a little bit ago, getting ready to block Bosa during training camp. Last year there was a ramp up for him because of the knee injury. Now that he's had a whole year under his belt and a year in the off season to train, and he can just go for it from beginning, what do you expect to see from him this year?
Oh, wow. I mean, Nick's an incredible football player. His size, strength, speed, his moves, his addiction to being great. He's a hell of a football player. I mean, I don't want to give, I don't want to put, give him aspirations and stuff like that. I know he wants to win football games. He wants to play at a high level, and for us to win games, he's going to have to play at a high level, and which he will do. I mean, every single day, everything that he does, he's very routine oriented. He does everything by the book. He does little, but he's just an incredible football player. So he's going to play at a high level. He's going to have a lot of sacks. He's going to have a lot of forced fumbles. He's going to make a lot of plays, and I'm glad that he's on my team.
A couple of veterans in your room, in Troy Fumagalli, Tyler Croft. How do they distinguish themselves? How do they stand out?
Well, I mean, as a tight end, I think it's kind of difficult to stand out too much during OTAs because there's no shoulder pads. Like you can see guys run routes and stuff like that. I prefer to run routes with shoulder pads on because I feel like it's a physical football. Football's physical, and I think you have to play it physically. I think both Tyler and Troy they had both really good OTAs. I thought Tyler came in, and I mean he looked good run blocking in shells, a little bit. But I think he's going to do great. I think Troy's he's a big body that can move people. Everyone has their own little pros and cons in the pass game, but I can't wait to see that, and that's what training camp's for. I try not to judge anybody in OTAs because I've seen players that looked like they were Randy Moss in OTAs, and then they were cut by the second week of training camp. So I'm waiting for shoulder pads and preseason games before I judge anybody.
George, you went into fans in the offseason, 49ers fans. What was the pleasure? What did they talk to you about? What did they ask you about?
Say that again?
When you run into fans in the offseason and they say, what's the team look like? Or what is something you get asked the most in the offseason by fans?
Oh, same as you guys, Jimmy or Trey. That's all I ever get asked by everybody. It is what it is. It's been like 4 years of that question, I feel like, at this point. But no, other than that, they just always ask either, it's usually how's Trey doing, how's Nick Bosa, and is Trent Williams as big as you think he is? And yes, he is. He's a massive human being.
George, the NFL Mexico site on Instagram had the top 10 selling jerseys in Mexico the other day, and two 49ers were on the list, Bosa at number 6 and you at number 2. What did you think about it?
I love that. You kidding me? I mean, the fact that I know the 49ers having fans in Mexico is awesome. I mean, you can kind of feel the love everywhere. I mean, every time I've actually been to Mexico, there's plenty of fans down there too. So I always enjoyed that because it's an authentic love, and you can just feel it. And they're just so happy to be a part of the 49ers fandom. So I'm appreciative of them.
Somewhat relieved that this season you won't be getting asked Jimmy or Trey.
I bet you one of you guys still asks me. I put money on it. I don't know. You never know. You guys are crazy out there. But I mean, it is what it is. I'll happily answer any questions that you guys have for me, no matter what.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
said that Jimmy knows that Trey is the starter, Trey knows, and that the team knows. Just what are your thoughts on seeing where this roster is, veteran roster, ready to win now, turn it over to a second-year quarterback?
I'm excited about it. I think we all see the potential, and I think with the people that we have surrounded Trey with and his work ethic and what we saw through OTAs, we feel like he can reach that potential. So it's not really like it's nice that Kyle came out and finally said it publicly, but I felt like we all kind of felt that and saw that in OTAs and whatnot. So it's not too much of a shocker or a new thing, but definitely excited for Trey and excited for us.
George said that he was most excited about the off schedule capability that Trey will bring. What are you most excited about working in an offense with Trey's skill set?
Yeah, I agree with George on that big time. I think that's where Trey can really be dynamic, is when the play does break down, he has the athleticism to really make the defense pay for it. But I'm excited about his big play ability. Again, in practice, plays are scripted, so it's not always indicative of exactly what you're going to do in the game. It's predetermined what your reads are and that kind of thing. But just felt like Trey was hitting a lot of deep shots in OTAs, and I'm excited to see that carry over.
Do you feel the running game schematically might benefit from a fresh set of eyes in Anthony Lynn, and how might that happen?
No, I definitely think so. And the unique thing with Coach Lynn is that he's been in our system, he's played in our system, and like you said, at the same time he's got some fresh eyes. So you get kind of both of that, and I think that could be really good.
How do you think the change of quarterback might affect you as far as the number of touches you get? Hopefully it goes up.
I have no idea. That's a great question. We'll see. I don't. If I had to guess, I don't think it's going to change too much. But I've been pretty open that I'm always welcome to more touches. So hopefully that does go up.
Last year, are you kind of campaigning for that to happen again this year?
City.
It happened a little bit last year.
Yeah.
You campaigning for that this
I'm
year?
always
again?
Campaigning, so that doesn't change.
Look at this roster up and down. What excites you the most? What jumps to you?
I think we have a really good combination of returning veterans who have shown that they can be dominant in this league, as well as some young emerging stars, guys that, rookies last year that started to make an impact down the line, and even rookies this year that I think can make a difference. So I think we just got a really good combination of those two, of the veteran and some youth.
In your mind, what did the veterans and the guys who have been through a couple of these playoff runs need to do to make Trey's life a little bit easier in his first year?
I think just continue to do what we've been doing. I really think that's what it is. Each guy taking upon themselves to just continue to play the way that they have and not try to do too much. I don't think we need to change anything or do anything over the top in order to help Trey. I think what's going to help Trey is us just being the players that we are and continuing to do that.
Joke that when he runs into fans and with us, he gets asked about Jimmy or Trey, or a lot Jimmy or Trey. Is there a certain level of relief for you, for the locker room, to just know it's Trey and not have to talk about it anymore?
Yeah, a little bit, and I definitely get asked the same question all the time. But again, like I said, I feel like we kind of already knew that, for at least for a couple months now. So it's not a huge revelation today. But having Kyle come out and concretely say it, I won't have as many people argue with me when I tell him.
Take you back to March of 2017. You were one of those guys, I think 9 of you, up there on that stage, just signed with a GM and a head coach who signed 6-year contracts. This is the 6th year of this group. How, from year to year, where are you now with this organization and what you see from the organization compared to back then?
It make me emotional, man. That was a long time ago. It is crazy to think about us being up here 6 years ago. I think the only ones left in that group outside of John and Kyle are me and Robbie. But I remember in that time, I kind of felt like a freshman at college, and I felt like we were starting a new program. And that's really kind of what it was. I mean, we had basically cleared house. It was all new players, all new coaches, all that kind of stuff. And honestly, I have a huge sense of pride of where I'm at now from that moment, because I feel like we've succeeded in the goals that we had set out, and the culture that we've built, the winning mentality. I mean, the wins that we have had, you know, going to the Super Bowl, going to the NFC Championship. I'm just extremely proud of what we've built, and how now when new people come into the program, and each season as it rolls over, there's an expectation, and that expectation is to win, which I think is awesome. And then I think we've really, like I said, accomplished the things that we set out to do. And you know, now we just got one more goal, and that's to go get a Super Bowl.
Well, there weren't any pads, obviously, in the OTAs and minicamp, but you've got new personnel that are going to be lining up in front of you, center and guards. What have you kind of gleaned from them in their new position so far, the guys that you have options that have?
Yeah, like you said, we're not, no pads on, not hitting. We had so many limited plays of actual full team that it's hard to say on the field what that feels like. All I can tell you is what in the huddle, and I can tell you that I felt confidence when I got in the huddle and I saw those not new faces, but they're in new spots. Seeing those guys and just seeing the look in their eye and the mentality, and just kind of the energy in the huddle, it felt good, and it felt promising. And so that's really the most I can take from it, and it was all positive.
Is there a moment either last year or during this off-season program when you really became comfortable with the idea of this being Trey's team because of something he did in a game or a practice field, or something he said maybe behind the scenes?
Yeah. Honestly, I remember a moment. It was during last season. What game was it was it Atlanta or Houston that he started against? Against Houston. He scored his first touchdown, and I remember we were all celebrating, or he had either thrown it or ran it in. I think he had thrown it. And we're all celebrating in the end zone. And I remember Trey kind of talking to himself, like kind of talking to us, and he said something about, like, I just needed to get that first one off my back. Now I'm good. I'm ready to roll. And you could feel it too, because I mean, you can feel the nerves when someone's going out there for one of their first starts in the NFL and that kind of stuff, and being a quarterback. I understand there's a lot on your plate. But it was in that moment that you could feel the weight come off of his shoulders, and that gave me an extreme amount of confidence that he was ready then, and that's just going to carry into this season. And once it was his time to be the number one, that he was going to be ready for it. So I guess I'd point to that moment.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.